Hi again, guys. Thank you so much for all your support on my channel. I can't believe I've already hit over 60 subscribers. That, blows my mind. And thank you for being so patient with me, really. I've had a rough couple of weeks, but I'm back to hopefully posting at least once each week, if not twice. Now today is a special request from a friend to read a very sneezy story. All credits to the story will be linked in the description. And Demos, thank you again, and I really hope you enjoy the video. Alright, here we go. Helping a Sneezy Friend by Nove. Oh no, I think I've got a sneeze coming on. Tammy blinked her blue eyes, brushing the long, ticklish strands of her strawberry blonde hair from her face. Reflexively, her pert nose gave a sniff, and she felt the sensation deepen, spread, become ever more unstoppable. Amy stole a shy glance at her friend, who was now grasping the top rail of the wooden fence before them in an effort to steady herself against the sneezy storm that was brewing within her. Tammy was the loudest, most explosive sneezer she had ever heard, something that both intimidated and excited her in equal measure. Oh, it's gonna be a big one. She also commented constantly on her building sneezes, making Amy feel fluttery and weak within. Tammy's head was tilting back, her eyes closing as she turned her face up to the hot summer sunlight. Her pre-sneeze sounds built in urgency, warnings of the seismic strength of what was to come. It's almost here. And with that, Tammy sneezed. Amy braced herself for the cue, which never came. It had been the ultimate of false starts. Every part of the sneeze except the final release came barreling out of Tammy's lungs, leaving her woozily confused and sneezier than ever. What? She gasped, before winding back up with a series of frantic breaths that shook her petite frame before... Again, the sneeze failed to land. Amy didn't know where to look as Tammy reached up to rub her nostrils as if trying to convince the sneeze to leave the safety of her nose. When she spoke, it was in a voice betraying the truly volcanic need to release the stuck sneeze and rid herself of the torturous tickle that the pollen-filled air had given her. Why can't I sneeze? Her blue eyes were glinting with allergic tears, her chest rising and falling within the light white t-shirt she wore. The endless fields of the farm stretched out to the pale azure of the sky, hazed with the pollen that rose in omnipresent clouds. Oh, here it comes again, said Tammy, tenting both her hands over her visibly twitching nose. She bent over and gasped out a series of pre-sneeze hitches, straightening slightly with each one until almost bending backwards, like a spring coiled to explosively release the colossal sneeze that had built within her. Huh? Tammy gave a mighty scream as the sneeze came roaring through her, mouth open wide, hands held uselessly before her sneeze-contorted face. But again, the tumultuous barrage of sound halted right before the essential chew she so desired to release her from the tickle. The failed sneeze echoed across the fields, birds launching themselves aloft in fright. Amy was surprised that the freshly cut hay in the field before them was not thrown into the air in a golden cascade, so forcibly had her friend tried to expel her tantalizing tickle. Tammy looked as if she was ready to implode with the need that filled her nose. She shook her head, her pre-sneeze face tingling. You gotta help me. Sneeze, she managed to say, as the hitches threatened to overwhelm her again. Amy almost trembled with confusion and excitement. She had never seen her friend so sneezy before, so flirting with the edge of control. Nervously, she ran her hand through her auburn hair, trying to keep the tremor from her reply. How do you want me to do that? I'm going to, need you to, tickle my nose for me. Sometimes it's the only way I can get them out. Amy looked quickly about her, eyes lighting on several thin stalks of grass that sprouted beside the fence posts. She bent down and drew one up, feeling its thin, pliable stem between the thumb and forefinger. Tammy was so sneezy she could barely stand, the sensation running riot within her, forcing little series of tantalizing hitches from her lips. Ha, 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 ha. Placing one hand against Tammy's back, Amy braced her friend, Grasstalk held ready in the other. Tammy shook her head, allowing her hair to fall back and clear of her face, which glowed bronze in the glorious sunshine. Breathing deep and steeling her courage, Amy instructed, "All right, Tam, put your hands down and try to relax. I think this will feel a little strange." And with that, she began to circle the rim of Tammy's right nostril with the grass stalk. Instantly, she felt the response in her friend, the tightening of her muscles, the rapid increase in breath. "Oh, that feels so good." All at once, Tammy lost control and exploded in a truly colossal sneeze that sent her reeling forward, the grass stalk jamming further into her trembling nostrils. And she was suddenly caught in the throes of a gigantic sneezing fit, each one causing her to snap forwards at the waist, only to rear back with the oncoming rush of the next. Amy had never before seen her friend so helpless in the face of her sneezing, so at the mercy of each back-bending convulsion. She took a few steps back as Tammy stumbled with the force of each release. With a final, enormous sneeze. Tammy managed to expel the trap tickle from her nose, sank to the ground, and from there onto her back in the grass. She seemed truly exhausted from the fit. Amy knelt down beside her friend, smiling shyly. "Did I do that okay?" she asked timidly. Tammy sighed, then laughed. "I'm not entirely sure how anyone could have done it better." The end.